Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Sports Talk. Hey, with your boy Recal, man. While you here, please like, subscribe, and share. I appreciate the love, man. Before I talk about how LeBron James helped create Beats by Dre, it was LeBron James, Dr. Dre, and Jimmy Iovine. LeBron James was the silent partner, was the silent creator. But before we talk about that, let me tell you, I'm gonna tell you, there's a lot of players, but I'm gonna pick 10 NBA players who fumbled the bag on endorsement deal. Right? I'm gonna pick 10 players because, like I said, it's too much. Um, we could look at Shaq, who Starbucks was giving him a huge deal. A huge deal. Well, Shaq right now, he own a lot of things. Shaq owned Brooks Brothers and so many Marshalls, so many J.C. Penney, so many brand. But before, he could have owned half of Starbucks, and they were trying to give him a deal. It was similar to the deal that 50 Cent had with vitamin water, and when by Gluso was a fresh up and coming company before Pepsi went and purchased Gluso from them. You know what I mean? Before Pepsi purchased Gluso, who owned Vitamin Water, and they had to give 50 cents, 100 something, almost $200 million. But Shaq could have owned major parts because 50 Cent didn't. Vitamin Water Gluso needed a name, a face to put out there to promote Vitamin Water, and they didn't have money to pay 50 cents at the time. And they said, you know what, we're gonna give you stock options. And he took the stock option and he promoted Vitamin Water, and it took off. And Pepsi went and purchased them, and he got almost $200 million out of that deal. Shaq could have been the one doing that, and also Nike. Magic Johnson had an opportunity to get Nike, Charles Barkley, all those guys, but they didn't do it. But let's look at Spencer Haywood. Spencer Haywood would have been a billionaire, right? Spencer Haywood was he should have been the first athlete billionaire, right? But he made a mistake in 1973, right? That cost him over $2.8 billion today, right? Back then when he was playing, If you look at highlights of Spencer Haywood was a double machine. People talking about Oscar Robertson. You talking about you talking about Russell Westbrook, who double machine. Spencer Haywood was a double machine. It was easy for him to give you 20 points, 20 rebounds. It was easy for him to give you 20 rebound, 20 assists. It was easy for him to do it, but he was a double machine. Whatever you needed, he was that guy, right? So given his major impact in the NBA, it was like everybody was knocking on the door to give him a shoe deal, right? So around the time, Nike wasn't the giant that Nike is today. You know what I mean? So so Nike was not going to trying to put us up together, right? And they made him an offer of $100,000 or 10% share of Nike. You know what I mean? They made him an offer because Nike didn't have the money back then. There wasn't the giant that they are now. So they made Spencer Haywood an offer. They said, "Look, we could give you a check for $100,000, which back then was a lot of money, or 10% share of Nike." 10% share of Nike is $2.8 billion. $2.8 billion. 10% share of Nike. Well, today we're in 2024. 10% share of Nike is at $3.9 billion right now for what they're worth. But Spencer Haywood, you know, like Spencer, like I said, Spencer was a champion. His agent told him, Spencer Haywood, his mother told him back then, Spencer, I know you're in the NBA, you have the fame, you have many endorsements. You're a double machine, which is, take the share. Nike is a white company. That's what man. If I'm wrong, I'm going by his people who are around. His mother told him, take the share. Take the shares from Nike. Nike is a white company. If it was a black company, that's what the mom said. You would be worried, all that stuff. But because it's a white company, they're doing so much to run it. Take the share. Take the shares, not the 100,000. Spencer Haywood took the 100,000 because his agent told him, "Yo, listen, take the 100,000." Because the 100,000, the agent was getting a cut from that deal. So of course, he should have never listened to that agent. He should have took the shares. If he took the shares, he wouldn't give anything to the agent. But the 100,000, the agent was getting. So it was beneficial for the agent to push him to get the money instead of the share. So he took it. So in today, Spencer Haywood and family, they would have had almost $4 billion in Nike share today. But he didn't do that. You know what I mean? So he would have been their first billionaire before Jordan. You know what I mean? Now Magic had an opportunity also. You know what I mean? Also, Magic could have, Nike also approached Magic Johnson to also, here's some money or take some shares. His share would have worth about $6 billion, $6 to $7 billion today. But you know what I mean? But hey, he didn't do that. You know what I mean? Besides, you know what I mean? So when they offer him the stock option, Magic Johnson, he took the money. You know what I mean? He didn't. Again, a lot of those guys, you gotta look at it, a lot of those guys were either from the hood or they were poor, so they didn't know anything about stocks. They didn't know anything about that. All they saw was the money. You know what I mean? Now we're looking at today. You know what I mean? Look at all these rappers signing all those deals. All these rappers doing all the shady stuff they doing. They in the dark room. All the producers, all the executive doing all these crazy things to them. They signing all these deals. They signing away. These guys were poor. You could manipulate them. You think a kid that's already rich, you can't flaunt money at them to do whatever. Look at Shadur Sanders and Shiloh Sanders. You know what I mean? All these guys could have went pro. All those guys could have went pro. You know what I mean? But they didn't do that because they're already rich. Their father already have money, so they didn't have to rush. So that's why they say, I'm going to stay in college and play and enjoy time with my dad. You know what I mean? So a lot of the guys didn't do that. You know what I mean? So you know what I mean? So you know what I mean? You look at it. Magic had a better deal with Nike, but he didn't do that. You know what I mean? He didn't take the deal. He decided, hey, I'm gonna go with Converse. You know what I mean? So he didn't take the deal. And you look at Shaq with Starbucks. You know what I mean? Offer him a big money. You know what I mean? Howard Schultz. Howard Schultz, it was a former CEO of Starbucks back then. Howard approached Shaq, to like endorse him, also be like an investor type. You know what I mean? Came up with the idea because Starbucks wasn't big like it was. You know what I mean? Just to Shaq didn't do it. You know what I mean? Shaq didn't do it. He didn't do the deal. He said, "No, I don't drink coffee." You know what I mean? He could have had a big opportunity. Kate Cunningham, the same thing. Uh, 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 you know what I mean? Signing the deal with all these guys have an opportunity, man. They blew it. Lonzo Ball, Nike, Under Armour, and Adidas. He blew that deal. Signing it with to do the stuff with his dad. What I mean? Selling those sneakers who was like ripping. They were trash. They're not basketball shoes. You know what I mean? They were poorly made. They rush. I know LeVar Ball is a good dude. Matt Hemby's a good dude, but it was it was a poor marketing scheme by it was a mom and pop, man. Made those shoes. Those shoes were trash. They were ripping. They couldn't. They weren't basketball shoes. They were being sold for almost $500. For the shoes, but they're not. You know what I mean? Every quarter, man, they were ripped. You know what I mean? So Lonzo Ball will have to wear 4 or 5 shoes a game because they were ripped, man. It was just trash. Yeah, man. It wasn't good. Those shoes weren't good. But hey, you miss out. Even Kyrie Irving with Nike. You know what I mean? That relationship. You know what I mean? That guy was making a lot of money, but hey, he refused to take the shot. All the stuff. You know what I mean? Doing all this crazy stuff, man. You look at Kobe Bryant, McDonald's, and Nutella. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But you look at having that deal with Nutella and McDonald's, but Kobe back then, the late Kobe back then, was doing a lot of. He was in the news. He was accused of rape. He was doing so much, and he lost a lot of money. Nutella, being that Kobe spent a lot of time in Italy, where his dad was in the NBA. His dad went overseas to play. You know what I mean? He was cut over here, but he went overseas to play. He was playing in Italy. So Kobe spent a lot of time in Italy, living in Italy. So he's fluent in Italian. You know what I mean? So that was it's good. So Nutella, hey, that was a perfect guy for them with Kobe, and but he was entangling in multiple controversy, in 2003. It was stuff about rape, all the stuff. He had all these women, and it was crazy. So they had to drop him. They had a great partnership with him. Great partnership, Nutella and his face would have been all over. He would have made $1 billion from them and McDonald's. They pull off. Gilbert Arenas with Adidas. You know what I mean? People, man, Gilbert Arenas was the man back then. I don't know what happened after that. I don't know what happened because I'm like, it's like when you watch what's that movie with Space Jam? You watch Space Jam with Michael Jordan, not the one with LeBron James, where those aliens stole all the NBA players' power and they can't play. That's Gilbert Arenas. Gilbert was a man. He could put up threes from anywhere. Gilbert was a beast. The guy could give you 40 points, 50 points any given night. And then he disappeared. He couldn't even do anything after that. He became trash. Trash is not the word, man. You know what I mean? He was a scoring machine. He was a show. And then they just too many antics, too many off the court stuff, and he would just. That's it. Yeah, Adidas decided to terminate the 8-year, $40 million deal he was getting, $40 million a year for 8 years, 40 million a year for 8 years. You know what I mean? So that's a lot of money, man. You know what I mean? So almost $400 million he was getting. He's getting from them from endorsement from Adidas. $40 million a year, $320 million for 8 years. $320 million for 8 years, plus the incentive. And you make the playoff, or man, and he blew that. You know what I mean? All these guys, man. John Morant, with Hulu and Powerade. You know what I mean? So they had a partnership. John Morant had a partnership with Hulu and Powerade. You know what I mean? So because of all the BS he was doing, they decided to pull the deal. You know what I mean? They decided to they removed him from all the social media, all the stuff, and from all their brand because of all the antics. Josh Giddey, Wheat Bix, you know what I mean? So he lost $40 million deal. It's a cereal company. It's an Australian Wheat Bix. Wetbix, right? That's an Australian cereal brand by Sanitarium. It's a healthy food company. It was, I posted about that. I made a video. I made an episode about this. If you look, Josh Giddey, he was having, a relationship with underage girls. You know what I mean? He's 21, but he's dating 14-year-old girl, 13-year-old girl, allegedly. Allegedly that you were dating 13-year-olds, allegedly 14-year-olds, allegedly 15-year-olds, allegedly 16-year-olds. You know what I mean? Guy's 21. You know what I mean? Allegedly dating. So I if you look at a couple of episodes on Josh Giddey, you can see that. But the Australian brand, they had a deal with him to pay him $40 million a year, and they pulled that deal after hearing all that stuff. They didn't want to deal with that. But you know what? The NBA swept that under the rug quickly. The way they did it was so smooth. You know what I mean? Here's a guy, was a predator doing all that stuff. You know what I mean? But hey, allegedly. You know what I mean? But, you know what I mean? Even though, anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. But he lost money, man. You know what I mean? So there's, so a lot of guys lost money on the BS. Anyway, man. Anyway. So I said this before on last episode. I'm going to say it again. So LeBron James, who part owner of Beats Electronics. Beats Electronics is owned by Apple. My majority owner, Beats Electronics, is owned by Apple. Right? Because Apple purchased Beats Electronics in 2016 from Dr. Dre, Jimmy Iovine, and LeBron James. People, you know what I mean? So the name LeBron James was kept off because he was a silent partner, but he had to sign off on that deal being made by Apple. So part of Apple, now remember I said, okay, 50 Cent as a rapper was huge and still big, right? Still big overseas, all over the world. Gluso was creating, trying to create a deal because of course, with the league, we're trying to, they try with the NFL, they try with NBA, they try with baseball, they try with everywhere to bring their drink out there to make it the number one drink of choice for athletes, right? and they couldn't catch any break. Gluso, of course, they created vitamin water, right? Gatorade is the number one choice for everything. Every sports, Gatorade. So Gluso CEO said, hey, of course he tried with all these organizations, all these sports, or whatever, try to make vitamin water their thing. And they were like, yo, listen, we signed a lifetime deal. We would love to use vitamin water because everyone who tried vitamin water say, okay, it's good. You know what I mean? They said, listen, we would love to do a deal with you. We have a lifetime deal with Gatorade. So we can't come out of the deal, but whatever. Anyway, so they reach out to, in Canada, 50 Cent was in Canada, you know what I mean? Gluso CEO met him, say, hey, I want to work out, I have this product, I'm trying to get it off the boat, whatever, I can't do anything with it, whatever, I need your help. Okay, boom, 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 here's what it is, whatever. Vitamin water, he tried it, oh, this is good. He tried all the flavors, this is good, whatever, he's okay. And he said, but I can't pay you. So she said, what do you mean you can't pay me? What do you mean? What do you mean? How much you want me to push your product for you? He said, look, no, we don't have any money. Because Gluso CEO spent all their money on vitamin water to make sure that it was perfect. Paying those scientists, paying those all those people. All those scientists, all those people got paid. And he's like, yo, listen, we don't have any money because they try to market it, on the street, right? Because even what's this energy drink? Energy drink. If you're in New York City, those energy drink before they hit the market, they will go on the street. There's a street market, and to give people those drinks, people drinking them. Oh, this you tried about whatever, And they were doing that in Canada. They were, vitamin water was all over New York, whatever, and just to get traction. So 50 Cent decided, okay, all right, you know what? I'm gonna do it for you. They told him, okay, we can't give you any money. We'll give you shares. He took the shares, and of course, do everything he could, and then vitamin water took off. Boom, and Pepsi came in, bought it. Pepsi came in to the CEO, said, both CEOs, hey, we want to buy it from you, and they didn't want to sell it, but they said, you know what? So they wrote a ridiculous amount. Pepsi said, okay, and then that's how they sold vitamin water to Pepsi. Well, Gluso sold the company. They sold Pepsi purchased Gluso, who owned vitamin water, and so on. So they give 50 Cent almost $200 million. So, but the deal, Beats Electronics bought Beats by Drip. Beats was everywhere. Everybody had Beats. If you didn't, I don't know. You know what I mean? I bought the first Beats with the wire. And it was messed up. One ear was, I was pissed off. I just bought it. You know what I mean? I was pissed off. And then my wife bought me the wireless one. You know what I mean? We bought the kids. You know what I mean? All these kids, man. I have a lot of kids. All these kids, we bought all these kids Beats headphones. Every last one, you know what I mean? Now, all these kids wanted Beats headphones, right? And we bought these kids Beats headphones. And those things weren't cheap. Those things were not cheap. My wife went and bought these kids all Beats headphones. I think they had it for a month. If that. You know what I mean? Sometimes, when it's not your money, man, if that. And, I think they give them away to their friends or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, man, spending $300. Anyway, man. But yes. So Apple purchased Beats. Well, Beats by Dre. Like when you have a company, you create a company. You create a company to push a product. You create a company. That company gonna specialize in. Your specialty is one thing. Let's just say you create a company that sell water, right? You create a company to sell water. Your water, let's say you could say Fiji, whatever. You create the company, but then by creating that company to sell that water, to push the water, there had to be a name. There had to be a name. You know, your LLC, whatever, corporation, whatever it is, you know what I mean? There had to be a name. So Beats by Dre, whatever, Beats. So so they create Beats Electronic. Beats Electronic is the company that Beats platform, you know, like music platform, Beats, the headphone, all the stuff is under. So when you buying or whatever, so it was Beats Electronic. So if you work, all the people who create, who work for Beats, all the stuff, their check said Beats Electronic. It didn't say Dr. Dre. It said Beats Electronic. They were getting a check from Beats Electronic. You know what I mean? Like you work for a company. The company might have another. When you get your check will say something else. There's rarely you have a check from the actual company. You know what I mean? So it's like when I was a director of public safety for working at Rivers Casinos, my check didn't say, it said Rush Street Gaming. You know what I mean? Rush Street Interactive, whatever. Anyway, whatever. So there's always a parent company. You know what I mean? You work for the New York. I mean, you play for the New York Jets. Your check is not saying New York Jet. It says Johnson and Johnson. You know what I mean? So anyway, so when Dr. Dre, approached Jimmy Iovine on the idea of, hey, I see, man, I've been trying all these headphones. They're not that good. This and that, whatever. He got with a few scientists, a few people to come up, a few engineers to create a perfect sound, something that could just cancel the noise. You could whatever, just perfect sound. He went to Jimmy Iovine. Jimmy Iovine, because they partners in multiple things. You know what I mean? Jimmy Iovine was the one that helped him left Death Row to come in to create, in Aftermath, all the stuff. You know what I mean? Jimmy Iovine was the one that tell him, hey, here's Eminem. You know what I mean? Jimmy Iovine helped him with so many things, whatever. Jimmy Iovine was the one that told Eminem, hey, here's 50 cents, whatever. So Jimmy Iovine's like the godfather for all these guys to be able, to help them. So Dr. Dre went to Jimmy Iovine with the idea, hey Jimmy, this is Jimmy Iovine. Here's the stuff that whatever. I want to do this. I want to do that. Jimmy's like, wow, this is a great idea. We don't have something like that. Let's do it. How much is all this stuff gonna cost? We're paying the engineers, paying the scientists, all this stuff to have the right sound, to have the to write stuff. Yes, you have the engineer creating the stuff, but you need scientists. You need the medical stuff to make sure that the sound is not exploding your ear. All that stuff. They have to do all tests. All that stuff, right? It's gonna cost $100 million. $100 million. Jimmy said, wow, you know what I mean? So Dr. Dre said, well, I have $20 million. Right? He said, I have $20 million. But I could raise about, another 20 to make it to put 40 million. So Jimmy Iovine said, well, but we need to invest it then, because Jimmy Iovine said, okay, I also have 20 million. I could raise another 20 million to make 40 million. So together, we'll have $80 million. but we'll need somebody else to put $20 million down. You know what I mean? So they talked, they went out for dinner, whatever, drank, they chill. And you know what? They said, okay, let's do this together. They were thinking about multiple people. They called Jay-Z, allegedly. They called so many people, and no one wanted to jump on board. Everybody said, oh, I don't know. I don't know. You know how it is, man. Do have money to, anyway. So now, LeBron was in New York playing the Knicks. He went to dinner after the game because they were gonna play the Nets the next day. I mean, I'm sorry. They playing the Knicks. They had a day off. The following, they were playing the Nets, so they didn't fly out. They just stayed in New York City. He went out to dinner, and he saw Dr. Dre and Jimmy Iovine leaving the restaurant. Right? I believe they went to Peter Luger, one of my favorite restaurants in New York City. You know what I mean? It was, I'm not gonna plug them out, but anyway, man, it was, it's a good, good steak, pretty good, man. It's pretty good. You know what I mean? You go to Peter Luger, you drop it, at least, at least a G on, you know what I mean? But anyway, with the steak and the wine, all that stuff, you know what I mean? You spending some money. You know what I mean? But anyway, Jimmy Iovine and that's in Brooklyn. Williamsburg, Brooklyn. We passed it the other day. And my wife and I passed it the other day. Anyway, man. So Jimmy Iovine and Dr. Dre with their wives, with them, whatever, they were leaving the restaurant, and LeBron James was walking in. They started talking, boom, 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 boom. You know what they do. And Jimmy Iovine said, hey, LeBron, I got this idea. We got this idea, whatever, and pitch beat to LeBron James. LeBron said, how much you need? And both guys smiled. They said, what? You don't want us to send you paperwork to whatever? He said, look, man, you guys are music geniuses. You guys are giants. How much do you need? Dr. Dre said, look, the whole thing will cost $100 million. I have 40 million. Jimmy has 40 million. That's $80 million. We need $20 million. LeBron said, all right. When do you need it by? And they said, what do you mean? He said, yo, when do you need the $20 million by? They said, LeBron, you don't want paper? He said, listen, man. Again, when do you need it by? They said, whenever. He said, look, you call Rich Paul. Can you wire this guy? Send him a check. You know what I mean? You call Rich Paul. They talk. Right? They talk, whatever. Rich Paul said, hey, that's a good idea. You call his accountant, his whatever, financial advisor, and wire Dr. Dre $20 million. On the spot. $20 million. So they got $100 million. And so on that paper, on a piece of napkin, LeBron James signed, all three of them signed a partnership on a piece of napkin. And he took a picture of the piece of napkin. On a piece of napkin, which Jimmy Iovine still has that. All three of them signed a partnership. Dr. Dre, Jimmy Iovine, and LeBron James. So in 2016, Apple, because Beats was just everywhere. I told you everybody had a Beat. They were expensive too. And I remember that. Like I told you, I bought the first pair and with wires, because I went to get a wireless one, they didn't have it. They had a display, but so many people were just putting it on. I didn't want to, I didn't want that. So I bought a one, wired one, and it was just, I don't know what happened. Pissed off. One ear, I think, and then my wife bought me the wireless one. I think 2 weeks after, and I was rocking it for a while. Man. And then all the kids, of course, wanted Beats. So my wife went to the store. Man. And she spent a lot of money. She spent a lot of money that day buying all these kids Beats headphones. And I don't think they'll even last a month. Either they give them away to their friends. Man, suburban kids. You know how it is, man. They probably give it away to their friends. I don't know what happened. I haven't seen them. Anyway. So Apple acquired Beats Electronic for $3 billion, including Beats music platform for $3 billion. Dr. Dre and Jimmy Iovine each made $750 million. And LeBron James took home $30 million. Right? So, but LeBron was smart. When Dr. Dre called him, say, hey, Apple want to buy Beats. We made enough money with that. We made a lot of money with Beats. We've been marketing it. We've been marketing that the product. He's doing well. Apple want to take it global, right? We would have to hire people, which they did, but not like that. It would just sell itself, online. Everybody wanted it, but Apple wanted to take that global. So if you go anywhere, Africa, Haiti, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Spain, anywhere in the world, Brazil, anywhere you could think of, Burkina Faso, or anywhere, Cameroon, Ivory Coast, whatever, you see Beats. Apple have the capability to branch it out, to create a global market. But they needed LeBron's permission. LeBron was like, well, we could do this, we could do that. It's like, yes, we can, but Apple's, have the machine already to do all of that. They offer us $3 billion. LeBron didn't want to sell, but he said, okay, all right, fine. So they all met. They had a meeting with Apple CEO. Dr. Dre signed to sell. He signed his deal away. He got a check for $750 million. Jimmy Iovine signed, boom, got a check for $750. You know what I mean? So, 750. You know what I mean? So that's 1.5 billion. Right? And so yeah, so Nike, I said Nike. 0.5. Wow. Anyway, man. So when they sold that deal, each got they got 750 million, right? LeBron took 30 million. I told you Jimmy Iovine signed. He got 750 million. Dr. Dre signed. He got his check for 750 million. You know what I mean? But LeBron James, when it was his turn to sign, like I said, he's the third partner for Beats. He helped create Beats. He was part of that deal, the conversation, all of the above, right? He threw a monkey wrench in there. LeBron's all about business, making money. He told Apple CEO because they needed him to sign, because if he didn't sign that deal wasn't going to work. The same way uh, Gluso vitamin water, Gluso company needed 50 Cent to sign. Pepsi needed them to sign as well for the deal to work. Because Apple saw the money they were going to make with Beats, who was a global market. They were sold out every week. Sold out. So many orders coming in. You know what I mean? Apple's announced the merger, like buying this on their platform even before the purchase. While they were going there, 2 days prior to them, because they know the deal was done, because of conversation, they just paperwork needed to be signed. They already announced the product on their platform. So the world, people were just making order. People were just ordering that they didn't purchase it. They didn't have the deal yet, signed yet. Right? The ink wasn't dry. The ink wasn't even on. They were on the way there, whatever, 2 days later, 2 days earlier to go make that deal. But they, like I said, they announced that on the platform. If you were an Apple website buying product, they were pushing Beats, or we just newly acquired Beats. They were pushing Beats music platform, all that stuff. You know what I mean? And so many people just went and order Beats. Being that because it was they were dealing with Apples, whatever, right? In 2 days, they had almost 6 billion order for Beats in 2 days, globally. And they were like, wait a minute, this is crazy. So they had to do anything to make that deal done. And LeBron James knew that. He did his homework. So Jimmy Iovine signed. They give him a check for $750 million. Dr. Dre signed. They give him a check for $750 million. LeBron threw a monkey wrench out there and said, look, I will sign this deal. When they push him to sign, he said, I signed the deal, but I want partnership. And everybody look at each other. What? Dude, take the money. He said, no. I'm going to take $30 million now, but I want partnership. So he's part owner of Beats Electronics. He's a minority owner of Beats Electronics. So Beats Electronics owned Apple, bought Beats Electronics. So LeBron James did not sell his entire share. Nike purchased Beats Electronics from Dr. Dre, Jimmy Iovine, and LeBron James, but LeBron James owned part of Beats Electronics by Apple. He owned Beats music platform, part of, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of stuff that this guy's doing to make money, which is crazy, man. You know what I mean? And the similar situation, like I said, 20 years ago when he turned down a $110 million offer from Reebok, but he took a 7-year, $87 million deal from Nike. So every year for 7 years, Nike was paying him $87 million. And then he's, you know what I mean? But he took an $87 million deal from Nike, but you know what I mean? But now you have a lifetime contract, you know, and that's a big thing, man. Anyway, man, sports talk. Like, subscribe, and share, man. This is what we do here, man. We break news.